Hey guys, welcome to my top 10 cultivation manhwas. Now, I've read a lot of cultivation manhwas, so I tried narrowing it down to my favorite ones, and I'm probably still gonna make a part 2 at a later date, as there's a lot of them that I missed. With this out of the way, let's get the top 10 started. For my number 10, we have Yuan Zun. Now, Yuan Zun was born with the legendary 1 in a billion chance Sacred Dragon Blessing, which bestows upon one the potential to reach the greater cultivation stage and become very powerful. Unfortunately, his destiny was stolen by someone at birth who betrayed his family. With not much hope of being a martial master, he keeps on training in literature and runes. One day, his father tells him of the secret of his clan, where he ends up being lucky and is now finally able to cultivate. Now this manhwa is pretty fun to watch. I love the art and the story is quite interesting. It's fun to see the weak prince become someone very powerful, so I definitely would recommend it. For number 9 we have the Portal of Wonderland. Now our protagonist lives peacefully in the countryside with no troubles and only hatred for his father for leaving him and his mother. One day, the family of his father finds him and tells him to go back, as his father is gravely ill. Not only that, but he is being persecuted by other people for being the young master of the clan. Later, he decides to go with them and starts training in martial arts to become powerful. Now this manhwa is pretty fun to read, and the protagonist is in some near-death situations that are pretty intense to read. Also, later he joins a sect where people fight to the death, and this is where it gets more interesting. Number 8. Cultivation Chat Group. One day, our protagonist was suddenly added to a chat group with many seniors. Now, the people in this chat group would call each other by weird cultivation names, and at first he thought they were either role-playing or had something wrong in their head. But after lurking in this group, he finds out that cultivation is actually a thing and starts cultivating with the help of the seniors. Now this manhwa is pretty funny and interesting as they show the conversations with the people, the chat group. I would definitely recommend if you're looking for something a bit different. For number 7 we have Master of Goo. In a world of cruelty where one cultivates using goo, which are magical creatures of the world. Fang Yuan was reborn 500 years into a past after dying with the Chunkyu Cicada, which is the most powerful goo. With his knowledge and experiences from the future, he plans on becoming even stronger than before. Now this manhwa is darker than all of the other ones listed in here, and our protagonist is very ruthless and doesn't hold back on anyone. So if you're into that type of manhwas, you should definitely check this one out. For number 6 we have Star Martial God Technique. In ancient times there was once many types of martial arts. Sadly, the world underwent terrible changes and only 3 were left: Flame, Dragon, and Star Martials. The Star Martials are unique and very powerful, but a lot of techniques have been lost. Our protagonist is one of those practitioners and has to go through a lot of efforts to become stronger. This manhwa is pretty popular already and has over 300 chapters. I would definitely recommend it if you're into strategic type manhwas, since our protagonist has a lot of strategies and it's also pretty OP. For number 5 we have Martial Peak, where the strong rule Yang Kai is the weakest out of everyone in his sect and is bullied because of this. One day he finds a small rock that contains a black book. With this book he finally gains a way to become stronger than everyone. Now this manhwa is pretty long and is still ongoing with over 700 chapters. I would definitely recommend it as there are many story arcs which are very awesome and cool. There are even different dimensions and worlds. For number 4 we have Magic Emperor. The Demon Emperor had the highest title and was the strongest. People from different sects met up to defeat him, and at the end he was betrayed by his friend. During this, he was reborn as a butler of a low-class family. With his past knowledge, he aims to become the strongest once again. This manhwa is my favorite out of all of these. The protagonist is pretty merciless and does anything to get stronger. He also meets new people and even schemes a lot, which is very fun to watch. Number 3. Master of Legendary Realms. Our protagonist is from a secret supreme sect that has been in isolation for a long time. While his master passed to become an immortal, he left the sect to Ives, our protagonist. Even though Ives has a bad foundation for cultivating, he was still given the role of sect master. Later, he sets off on a quest to rectify his sect and become number 1. To do this, he changed his identity to the son of the emperor and become a prince. In this manhwa, you can see as the protagonist becomes stronger and meets new people, meanwhile having others secretly helping. Also, the protagonist likes to scheme a lot and has a lot of unique ways of manipulating people, which is very fun to watch. I would highly recommend this manhwa. For number 2, we have Apotheosis. Now, our protagonist was a former young lord from the Lua family, and is now a slave whose father passed away. There's a wealthy sect holding his younger sister in custody. Both physically and mentally he has suffered so much. His life began to get better when he found his technique of secret weapon formation in his father's book. Now he goes on a journey to get revenge, save his sister, and become the strongest. This manhwa is similar to Martial Peak, and is almost as long with over 600 chapters and still ongoing. Number 1. Tales of Demons and Gods. After being killed, our protagonist was reborn as his 13-year-old self. This second chance at life, he decides to become the strongest and save his loved ones and his city from destruction. This is one of the most known manhwas out there and is also very interesting. You see the protagonist uses past knowledge to gain an advantage over things. Now this was my top 10 cultivation manhwa and I hope you enjoyed. Also, if you have any recommendations, make sure to put them down in the comments. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now I'll see you in the next one.